In my last video, I picked up the F-450 from the old ranch in Colorado and had a pretty interesting drive across the country. The very sudden move meant we were not going to be able to build the F-450 camper in Colorado, and it very quickly became our U-Haul to get our tools back to the new workshop in California. The time crunch meant I didn't have the time to make this truck mechanically sound, and on top of that, we were not able to permanently mount the box to the truck itself. This also meant that we had no taillights and no way to get fuel into the tank. And to make things worse, the truck shut off on me while I was driving over Kebler Pass. But thankfully, it ended up being a simple fix, a loose ground to the battery. Either way, we made it back, driving straight through to California after 1,200 miles of 55-mile-per-hour driving. 488 gears and 30-inch tires are not exactly a great match for road trips. But the next day, I was on a flight to Billings, Montana for a Facebook Marketplace deal that I just couldn't pass up. I'd always wanted an F-550 as the base for my next build, and I had found one that fit the profile. An F-550 with the 7.3 power stroke, a ZF6 6-speed manual transmission, 4-wheel drive, a single cab, and a 165-inch wheelbase. Basically, a very specific truck. So now the game plan is to sell the F-450, maybe clean it up a tad, and remount the ambulance box to the 550 if I buy it. So today, you're coming with me to inspect, drive, and hopefully buy the base for our next camper build. So before we touch down, I just wanted to tell you the backstory on this deal and the seller. I found this deal and got in touch with the seller, who seemed to be pretty busy. The seller ran a surplus equipment and metal recycling business and had the vehicle since 1999. The truck had not been used for the past several years and had now just been sitting, and he needed to get rid of it. I was going to be meeting with the owner's son Kevin, as the seller would be in Salt Lake City, where he was expanding his business with some new state contracts. I was expecting a truck that had seen hard work, but as long as there was no serious rust on the body and the drivetrain was in good condition, it didn't really matter to me. We were going to be doing a decent restoration to this truck anyway. It had decent miles on the truck at 151,000 miles, but this wasn't a concern for me as it's not our next giveaway camper. If we were going to run a giveaway on it like we're doing with this camper right here, I think that 151,000 miles would just be a little too much for most people. This instead would be my next home for the long term, and 151,000 miles on a 7.3 is pretty low for an engine that routinely does 300 to 500,000 miles before needing a rebuild. Anyway, now that you know the backstory, let's check this truck out. Alright, so we just got to Billings, and I think it's time that well, no, it's not time. I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm getting quite yet, but I'm buying something, and the seller is picking me up, and I hope that I'm going to be able to drive back to California. This is round 2 of the sketchy cannonball run. All right, he picked me up. We got Kevin right here.
How you doing?
So we are about to go check this thing out. And how far away are we?
Only about like 5 miles.
Sweet, dude. Thank you so much for picking me up. I was halfway worried that, like, you never know, Facebook Marketplace.
100%. Somebody would pick you up with a knife in their hand or something like that. I understand.
Dude, the biggest thing is I picked up the 450 in Idaho, an older guy, and he completely misrepresented it to me. And
yeah.
I drove all the way out, and then he was like, "Okay, well, you know, you can just go ahead and turn around." And it was
that's a joke.
No, it was terrible. And like 77-year-old guy retiring from his business, and you would think that, you know,
he just didn't give a shit, you know, just one of those guys that don't give a shit.
I think that he was old enough where he was like, I don't care anymore.
Exactly. 100%. He was just so old, and he did what he had to do in life, and he doesn't give a shit anymore. He's done. He's done. It's just interesting to hear about.
All right, that's the 550. So you were driving this the other day?
But my brother was driving it. I don't know how to drive stick. I was in the passenger seat though.
Okay. I mean, this is kind of the typical stuff on the frame, but it's not flaking. The rust was the big thing I was concerned about based off the last truck.
Yeah, no. We tried to see as much as we could. We seen absolutely nothing, you know.
Yeah, you're right. This is all mud in here. Dirt. And I mean, there's a little bit of stuff, but nothing that a little paint can't handle. And then the frame is, I mean, the frame is the frame. Looks like, I guess you don't know too much about this truck, but there's all new bolts on the transmission cross member.
Is there?
Yeah, so they did something.
They probably worked it.
I wonder, do you think that they pulled the transmission?
I don't think so. I have no idea what they did, I'll be honest.
There's new bushings on the sway bar.
Like I said, they had this truck for a while, so at some point maybe, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, it definitely needs to be cleaned up in here. There's a new slave cylinder for the clutch, so that's new. Yeah, dude, this thing is muddy. This thing is freaking muddy.
Stuff like this gets destroyed out here.
Yeah.
The undercarriages get absolutely destroyed.
Pinion seal up front's bad, but that's, you know, that's probably the only thing I'm noticing so far. I'm gonna take off those manifolds probably to do work on turbo stuff and up pipes, so that's gonna be fun because that's definitely a little crusty. Oh. All right, like the first thing I do is just crawl under the truck.
Don't worry about it. Like, that's how I know you know what you're doing.
I don't know if I'd say that. And then let's see if the e-brake's any good. The e-brakes on these things usually, a lot of them are bad. I mean, it looks like the rustiest stuff is the whatchamacallit, drive shafts and the exhaust. And then looks like there's a leak on the axle too. It's dripping.
Is it?
Yeah, it's looks like it has fresh fluid, but yeah, the axle's,
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
yeah, it's all wet, which might just be this seal here. Dude, this is a huge axle. So this is a S135, and the 450s, they use a Dana 80, and so it's tubes that are pressed into the center diff, but this is all one piece welded construction, and then you have to pull it out from the front. So it holds 13,500 pounds.
Jesus.
Just that one axle.
Jesus.
It's, yeah, it's a lot. And parts are not cheap for it either. It's, yeah, I mean, it's a real truck axle. Basically, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a semi-axle.
Yep, pretty much. The bed's the only thing that seems to be rusty.
Yeah.
And then all this looks pretty clean. Got a brake controller. Very nice. Dude, the seat's clean besides that little thing.
The truck itself is, like, when I hopped inside of it, brand new.
Oh.
The cabin stuff is nice.
Headliner, that's
those always, you know.
Yeah.
After so
Actually,
long,
you know,
just go
I've
down.
had a few of these trucks now, and haven't had any headliner issues.
Really?
Yeah, and then burnt out socket, but nothing bad. And oh man, these always seem to break.
Because, you know, they're shifting and it just, some guy probably just went a little too hard and pulled it right out.
So reverse is over, hold on. Reverse, low, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So that thing, it feels a little different than mine. Mine doesn't have this shift knob. It fell off on, well, it was off on the
Oh, so
truck when
you're
I bought it. Well, yeah, I had to put a different one on. But overall, it looks pretty clean. It's got a little sun fade on the dash.
I'm actually surprised how well they kept it up, how well Dad and everybody kept it up.
Yeah, and they're, you know, it's, shoot, dude.
What's up?
Real quick, guys, I just wanted to give mention to this video's sponsor, Expedition Ranch. I just had to say that, we don't have any sponsors. Instead, we do something else here at Expedition Ranch. The goal of this channel is to build really unique off-road campers, film the build process for you, and give anyone the chance at driving off in an incredible rig. Through the process, we get to support two really cool nonprofits that work to protect our trails, dispersed campsites, and public land access. Tread Lightly focuses on trail cleanup, stewardship, and education, which covers the conservation part. Then we have the Blue Ribbon Coalition that fights to keep access to our favorite trails and campsites. When public land agencies propose shutdowns, they walk the land and verify the reports, and if it's not valid, they fight the legal battle to keep our access to our public lands. This is our first giveaway rig, a 7.3 Power Stroke with a full camper conversion designed to take you off the grid for 2 weeks at a time. And if you haven't noticed, we're a small channel and this is our first giveaway, which means your chances of winning will never be higher than our first one. The giveaway ends December 25th, but there are several big bonus prizes sprinkled in there, with our next one being a DJI Mini 4 drone, which is what we use to get all of these cool shots. And that bonus prize ends on July 31st, so the sooner you get entered, the higher chance you have at winning one of the 9 remaining bonus prizes. And, of course, the grand prize 4-wheel drive camper. And if you win one of the bonus prizes, you are still in the game for the grand prize camper. So to get entered, just head over to expeditionranch.com. Anything you grab on our store will get you entered to win this one-of-a-kind rig. Plus, it helps support this channel and the content we make over here, and it supports our great nonprofit partners. Thank you. It was advertised at 150,000 miles.
What is that?
178.
Jesus. I'll be honest, I have no
I asked him about it too.
I have no idea. Like I said, I was not involved. My dad was the one who you talked to and who put up the truck and everything.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, that's shoot. I guess we'll get back to that one if everything else checks out.
We could do something about that.
Okay, yeah, that was. I was really looking forward to 150K on it. I know that you're.
Yeah,
I know that you're just here.
I completely apologize on his behalf. I'm just helping him out while he's out of town.
Okay, yeah, that's Shoot, that's a bummer. I mean, it is going to be for myself, and I know that like I'm not too scared of 178, but it's definitely different than what I was expecting.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll get back to that. We'll take a look at some other stuff here. Parking brake seems good. What are all these switches in here, do you know? These guys?
I think they're just aux switches for when, I think there was a crane attached at some point just for stuff like that. I think there was like a gen attached just to turn on stuff that used to be attached that's not anymore.
Okay. Okay. Well, and then looks clean this way. There's a little bubbling in the doors.
Is there? On the...
Yeah, here. You can check it out right here. I know that he probably didn't look through this thing as close as I would,
no.
but that's...
I don't think they ever took this thing off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cancerous, but it's not, you know, something that I can at least get in there and I can wire wheel and repaint. And then all right. And you don't know anything about any work done to it or anything like that, right?
I wish he was here so I could tell you, but he's up in Wyoming.
Oh, I thought he was in Salt Lake.
Wyoming to Salt Lake.
Okay.
He was taking that trip. I don't know. They might have hit Salt Lake at this point. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him in like 2 days. I can't get a hold of him. Whenever I try to call him, he's in the no man's land.
Is he always traveling around for that job?
Yeah.
Or his business, I should say.
We're both of us are always really somewhere. I'm surprised I'm even here this week.
Okay. And then he said that the batteries were dead too the other day, right?
Yeah, but I think they jumped in and had it running.
Okay, I'm just curious. Well, I'm just curious if they sat dead for a while.
I have no idea. I know that when I just drove it the other day, it started right up. So.
Okay. Well, we'll start it here in a minute. And then, this is the first 7.3 I've seen that doesn't have diesel sitting down in the valley. Because that's kind of a typical thing. And then, there's a hose clamp on the turbo. That's interesting. And then it's a single alternator. Then, yeah, fluid all looks good. I don't even need to open that. You know if it has AC? Like if the AC's working?
If it works, I'm pretty sure it does. But
okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Until we test it.
I'm more than sure.
Well, dude, that was on me.
You're okay.
That was on me, dude.
It's just a chain link, but don't even worry about it. Here's the key so you can pull forward.
Oh my gosh, that was totally on me. I can't believe I did that.
Don't even worry about it.
Well, at least we got it on camera. I just left the truck in neutral.
God, it was a chain link fence.
I know, dude. I can't believe I did that. Jeez, all right. Let's start this thing up.
Damage, you're getting rid of the bed, so it doesn't matter.
Jeez. All right. Wait to start light. Cool. And then now I can put it in neutral. We'll test the e-brake.
Should work now.
You wanna push on the door real quick? Yeah, it's solid. It sounds like a healthy 7.3. So, one of the big things to test on blow-by, or you want to check for blow-by on the engine, you take the cap off, like that. We'll give that a second. It's steaming a little bit, but it's not rattling. Nothing coming out of the exhaust. You want to go for a run?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
That just happened.
Okay.
Literally yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I was driving 2 days ago. While I was driving it, we hit like a speed bump. The speedometer, everything else works. The speedometer went out. I took it to my mechanic and everything. Speed sensor just
On the rear end?
speed sensor went out. He told me he could have done it for a couple $100, but it would have took him until Wednesday.
Okay.
I just like if I could have had him get it done by today, I would have. But he had way too much stuff to get to before me.
Okay.
But like I said, it's just a speed sensor.
Yeah, that's
$200.
that should he quoted you a couple $100 for it?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, usually speed sensors in the rear end. And that's, I'll have to see on that, because if it's at the S135, might be more expensive.
My guy, he's a Ford mechanic that usually just works up for a couple different people. I had him take a look at it when he had time. And
Are any of these no, it's just a noisy blower.
yeah, it's just
It does blow cold.
yeah, it blows really cold.
Transmission seems nice and quiet. So there's something called gear rollover, and a lot of these trucks do it. It's actually kind of normal when you get to really low RPM.
Right.
Here, did you hear it?
Good.
That little scent, like it's like, it kind of sounds like it's lugging.
Yeah.
But it's not the engine.
It's transmission.
It's transmission, yeah. Well, the shift's nice.
Yeah, like I said, we drove it for 15-20 miles and it ran really good.
Yeah.
Shockingly for setting for so long and how long they had it, you know?
Yeah.
I know they had it for a while.
Oh. All right, we'll do a little pull up here. Should we go left?
Yeah.
Okay. It does feel nice.
Like I said, I have no idea how to drive stick, but when my brother was driving it, he was saying it actually feels brand new to him.
Yeah, it does. Feels like a 7.3. Thank you for filming this.
I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, overall the transmission feels pretty good. Usually it's the third gear synchro when you're downshifting. You can kind of feel it. You have to kind of push it into place. If you try to shift it a little too hard, it'll grind. So that's usually the kicker, but it feels really sharp.
Yeah, they kept up on it. I think it was a truck that they really rarely used over the years. It was just kind of, I think what he said is he bought it and then realized he didn't really need it, but he liked the truck anyway, so they kept it around.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it just was kind of like an extra set of arms in case they needed another truck on a job or something.
Oh yeah. The synchro feels really good. I just downshifted to third and there was nothing there. That's usually where it is. Alright. Second. One of our doors is open.
Probably not.
Is yours open?
Not sure. It'll be fine.
Okay, we got a door jar light on.
It's probably this one.
Okay. What we'll do here is we'll put it into four-wheel drive, lock the hubs outside, and then I'm probably gonna dump it in low and see if we have those tires jump at all. And it's gonna be kind of hard since it's a heavy truck, but you know, give it a clutch dump. So, all right. Okay.
Make sure you turn on that brake this time if you're getting out to fix the hubs.
So the four-wheel drive indicator light isn't coming on either.
Is it?
No. So is there a set screw in this thing? Yeah, that's just kind of how they go sometimes. So that feels like 4 low. We'll be able to tell real fast if it's in 4 low. That's 4 low.
So just the lights.
Yeah, lights out. And then
you scared me there. I got scared. I was thinking, holy shit, I brought him all this way in the four-wheel. No, it was bad. I got scared for a second.
And go out and lock these hubs. All right, then you just want to film it go real quick? Thank you. That felt like it spun a little bit up there, did it? Couldn't tell?
I was looking through the camera, I'll be honest. You could go again and I'll take a look.
So there's our front tire mark. And there's our rear right there. Ooh. Okay, so it's just the indicator. Let's see if there's a wire there. Huh. It is kind of... It acted a lot better when the transmission was cold.
Really?
Yeah. Which could be a fluid thing.
"20 or so years, opened up a branch in Salt Lake, and because of that, he kind of, you know, got involved with a couple different people down there, and now it just, he set it up to the point where, you know, he's ready to roll and got business actually going."
Yeah, headlights are good. Oh, key has to be ignition for turn signals. Turn signals are working. How's that one look? Cool. Hazards.
Have people,
Oh, yep, there we go.
have
That's
people
it.
pull over while you're driving home.
Dude, I have an ambulance. I can make people pull over whenever. Okay. And I'll probably crawl under the truck a little bit more, and I'm just gonna kind of make a list so that way I kind of know what's a fair offer for you guys. I guess I may as well look at this box too.
This box is crazy.
Is it? No, it's not locked.
The box itself is crazy. I assumed that whoever bought this thing would have wanted this box more than anything.
You know, it'll probably be kind of tough to sell. They tend to, you know, I've sold a couple things like this.
There might be an air compressor in that too.
I did see that. It looks like it's hooked up to propane. It's steel too, not aluminum, which is, I don't know if people would like that more.
I think it was a custom bed.
Okay, this one's
Yeah.
not opening. Oh, that's kind of odd. Well, it's just the latch in there. It's not right. Yeah, I mean, I can probably, if I got $1,000 for it, I'd be really lucky. No, you have a guess why? The weld broke.
Yeah.
There's some toolboxes and stuff in here.
Yeah, that's where the compressor is.
Okay. Do you know anything about the compressor?
No. No, it's just, I don't even
Jeez.
know what they had it hooked up there for.
Okay, yeah, this is actually kind of interesting.
It was just kind of an extra set of hand struck. I don't even.
Yeah.
It was barely driven over the years.
So that's the motor for it, and then that's the compressor. And there's a tank under there, and a gauge here. Do you know what's in here?
No idea.
That's kind of.
I don't even know if it's a compartment or anything.
Well, it's got to have something in there. No, no rust in here.
It looks pretty clean to me.
Got a hitch that's part of it. Oh, look at that. It's not welded to the frame. That's nice.
You're getting rid of bed anyway. I bet you it's actually worth a lot more than you think. It's to the right guy.
The bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be one of those things I have to sit on for 6 months plus.
I bet you if the right guy comes, he'll give you like.
I don't think I'm gonna get more than 500 for it.
Oh, you're crazy! I bet you.
Yeah.
Some guy comes by and gives you about two and a half.
I think that even with the rust, I could probably get like 1,000, 1,200 if it didn't have some of like just the doors opening the way they are.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the main thing is, because I mean, guys that are going to use this, they're gonna be open it day in and day out. Yeah, most of these doors have something hanging them up.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's just open in here.
Yeah, I think that's where a spot for a generator that used to be there at some point.
That makes sense. It's ventilated for it.
Yeah, I think it was.
All right, and check this door. So it's just starting, so it needs to be just starting. But it's not bad. Do you know if it has a tire change kit on it?
Like inside of it?
See this right here? That's starting to separate a little bit. I just don't want to have a blowout and get stranded. All the seals look nice and good. That's the fill for the slave cylinder. Oh, you did have a rat back here. You got a nest underneath.
Oh, really?
You got a nest under the turbo.
Thank God they didn't get into anything. They did nothing, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no check engine lights or.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Like I said, I had my guy look at it and he said there was nothing really.
Yeah. Well, it's not leaking any fuel in there or anything.
Worst part about a rat is it go through the wiring, and that's
yeah,
stupid as shit. Wiring issues.
It is. Belt looks good, so that shouldn't go out. Well, actually, belt's cracked.
Is it?
It is, but I think it will get me there.
Still working, yeah.
Yeah, the underside of it has dry rot.
Yeah.
And then I just take these things off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just don't even mess with them. Cause I, you know, just, I feel like they always just get nasty looking.
Yeah. What?
You know, I'm really curious if they replaced or rebuilt the transmission, because you have a new slave cylinder and you have new cooling lines. I mean, I'd be surprised if it was rebuilt that early on. Yeah, the four-wheel drive indicator light is, that's just, I'm looking at a sensor right now, and it's kind of interesting. It looks like, I just don't want to, I hope I don't have to chase it up the harness. It's all zip tied together in a bundle, which almost makes me think that they extended the line. I think this transmission's been out. Oh yeah, remanufactured, really? Mountain State drivetrain. Really? Yep. Huh. Does he have employees that would have been driving this truck?
Oh, yeah, like I said, we have a bunch of guys that.
Okay.
It was driven if somebody needed an extra truck. So maybe at some point one of the guys did something.
Well, that's usually what happens with these manuals, is that they're getting driven by, you know, guys that are working, you know, it's not their vehicle. Yeah. And they don't really know how to drive stick. At least that's what the other guy with the 450 was telling me, which makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not wrong. So many of the guys don't. A lot of the guys wouldn't drive a couple of the manuals we had because they don't know how to drive them. And if they would be forced to drive them.
All right, guys, that guy was a lot of fun to hang out with. He was a nice guy. So I just bought an F-550 4-wheel drive 7.3 Power Stroke ZF6 6-speed manual transmission. It's got the S135 rear axle. It's rated for 13,500 pounds. It's originally had it up for $12,000, which was honestly at 12 was a pretty good deal for these trucks. They tend to go up in price, and to find one of these, they are getting harder and harder to find. I was a little disappointed though. I'll tell you guys why here in a second, but I just spent the last 2 hours just combing through every bit of this truck. I went through all the fuses, I went through the engine, I went through, like, I was underneath the truck for probably 30 minutes straight just going over stuff. I have a list of all the little defects. They're not big things, they're small things, very fixable things. What's interesting is that the transmission was rebuilt very recently, ZF6, and so you know, that's pretty interesting to me that they rebuilt the transmission. These things usually last a long time, but what I'm guessing is because this was a company truck, that what they probably did is, you know, they had employees and stuff driving this thing, and, you know, employees in today's age, you know, they probably slammed some gears or did something, and they got this thing rebuilt, which is actually, and that's a big plus in the price favor. The downside to this is that it was advertised at 151,000 miles. Now, this is going to be my personal rig for, you know, the foreseeable future. I wanted a 550 so that way I could tow new projects and stuff like that without any type of concern. It's advertised with 150,000 miles, and it has 178, which was a big difference. And it was one of those things where I just flew out here because of it, and a little disappointed in that, a lot disappointed, because I wanted 150. These trucks last a really long time, but I would like to have 150K. It has 178. So I thought about it for a while, and I got the truck down from what was a good price of $12,000 down to 10 even. And, you know, I feel pretty comfortable with that. You know, at the end of the day, this is going to be a long-term vehicle for me. I'm probably going to do injectors. I'm probably going to do some things to this truck. You know, the cab is completely clean of rust. It doesn't have anything. And the, you know, the frame has the typical gravel hit type of rust. You know, nothing major there, but I definitely got to go over the frame and clean that up. It's going to be a good truck. Now we just got to get it back to California. All right, guys, well, things just got interesting. I started smelling fuel. We're in the middle of nowhere, Nevada right now. That right there's diesel from me. I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, Nevada with no tools and put to work in a gravel mine. I found myself on an adventure that I never expected to happen, working on a gravel crusher with men I didn't know. In our next video, you'll see how I ended up in this situation and how we recovered from a massive fuel leak. Yep, I hear it, it's spraying. There it is. Okay. Okay.